Hey everyone, and big thanks to LitRPG Reads, especially to Paul Bello, fine fellow that he is,
Yeah.
for sending this awesome article our way. It's all about AI-powered D&D puzzles. And let me tell you, it's got my gears turning.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating topic, especially for those of us who spend our weekends battling goblins and deciphering cryptic riddles. Speaking of which, how was your last session?
Oh man, it actually involved a puzzle. That had my players stumped for a good hour. Real table-thumping stuff. Looking back, I think AI could have helped smooth things out.
I've been there, staring at your notes, willing a puzzle to magically become more engaging. So,
Yeah.
Tell me, what specifically caught your eye in this article?
Okay, so the article dives into how AI can help dungeon masters create these really intricate and engaging puzzles. And the best part is, they can be tailored to each player. I mean, how cool is that? Imagine a labyrinth that shifts and changes as your players solve it. Or riddles that are woven directly into your campaign's lore. It's like taking personalized storytelling to a whole new level.
It really does sound like a game changer. Think about it. No more late night scrambling for puzzle ideas. Or trying to adjust difficulty on the fly. AI could help DMs create a truly unique experience for their players, all while saving them a ton of prep time.
Right. The article even highlighted a few AI tools that are out there right now. One that really caught my eye was LitRPG Adventures, the brainchild of our fine fellow Paul Bello. Apparently, it can generate entire quest lines based on your input. I mean, how cool is that?
It's impressive, especially if you consider how AI can help overcome creative blocks. Sometimes all you need is a little nudge in the right direction, and AI can provide that spark to get your creativity flowing. It's like having a brainstorming partner who can instantly generate a dozen unique puzzle ideas.
Exactly. You mentioned this new hex world builder that Paul's working on. I'm a sucker for a good hex map.
Oh,
I'm definitely curious about that one.
I'm curious too. For folks unfamiliar, a hex map breaks down the game world into these hexagonal grids, which some find more natural for movement and area representation. Now imagine AI helping you, not just design the map, but populate it with towns, dungeons, and those all-important plot hooks. It's world building on a whole other level.
And it's not just about creating worlds, right? This article also talks about how AI can be used to design the puzzles themselves. I mentioned things like riddles, trap mechanisms, pattern recognition puzzles, even illusions. Talk about a DM's toolbox.
That's what I find fascinating. Imagine an AI that could help you craft a riddle, perfectly tailored to your players' inside jokes. Or a trap mechanism that plays on their character's specific weaknesses. It's like adding that extra layer of personalization that really draws players into the game.
And they gave some really cool examples. Like they described a riddle tied to an ancient prophecy in the campaign. So it's not just some random brain teaser. It's actually woven into the story. And then there was this example of a shifting floor puzzle in a labyrinth. The players have to figure out the right path before they fall into this pit. I mean, come on, that's intense.
Yeah, that's the kind of challenge that keeps players on the edge of their seats. Speaking of keeping players engaged, the article also talked about AI-generated dialogue for NPCs.
Oh, yeah. And AI-generated artwork to bring the puzzles to life. The article even hinted at puzzles that change based on player choices.
Now, that's where it gets really interesting. We're talking about a dynamic, responsive game world, a world that reacts to the player's actions in meaningful ways.
Okay, but I have to admit, all this talk about AI is a little intimidating. Like, where do you even begin?
I hear you. The article actually had some good advice on that. They suggest starting small. Maybe use AI to generate some basic ideas and then customize them to fit your campaign. And they also emphasized the importance of testing. You don't want to throw something at your players that's either impossible to solve or just plain boring.
Testing is key. Absolutely. I remember this one time.
Wait, hold on. You have an example?
Oh, yeah. It was a puzzle I thought was brilliant. A real brain twister. Turned out it was way too complicated. And my players just ended up getting frustrated. If I had tested it out first, I could have avoided a lot of groans and eye rolls.
I feel that. What I find intriguing is how some of these AI tools can actually help with that testing process. They can simulate how different players might approach a puzzle and even provide feedback on difficulty and engagement. That's a huge asset for DMs, especially those who might not have a dedicated group of playtesters.
It's like having a built-in quality assurance team.
Yeah.
Puzzles. I like that.
And remember, even with all the amazing technology at our fingertips, the most important thing is to not be afraid to experiment and have fun. Figure out what works for your group, what they enjoy, and what kind of challenges they find engaging.
Experimentation is key. I totally agree. And I think that's what's so exciting about this whole AI thing. It's like a whole new frontier for DMs, a chance to really push the boundaries of what's possible in our games.
I agree. We've been focusing on the practicalities, streamlining prep and crafting better puzzles. But what about the broader impact? How do you think AI could change the feel of a D&D game?
That's a great question. I think it has the potential to make the games even more immersive and engaging than they already are. I mean, imagine a world that truly reacts to your players' actions, a world where every choice has real consequences. That's the kind of storytelling that gets me really excited as a DM.
Precisely. Think about it. Increased player engagement. AI could help weave puzzles so tightly into the narrative that players don't even realize they're solving a challenge. They become active participants in uncovering the story, rather than just passively following along.
And not just the story. The whole game world could feel more alive. Like instead of just having static dungeons and towns, AI could help create these dynamic environments that change over time, responding to the player's actions. Imagine a forest that grows denser. The more creatures are slain within it, or a town that thrives or suffers, based on the player's decisions.
Now that's a world that feels truly alive, a world that breathes and reacts. And don't forget about the potential for increased consistency. Using AI to generate lore, riddles, and even NPC dialogue could ensure that everything feels more connected and organic.
Right, so even if a player goes off the beaten path, the world still feels believable and fleshed out. It's not just the main storyline that's engaging, but every little nook and cranny of the world.
Exactly. It's like having a team of world-building experts, constantly working behind the scenes, making sure everything fits together seamlessly. I can see how some DMs might be hesitant. Does handing over some of that creative control to AI make the game feel less personal, less handcrafted?
That's a great point. It's something I was wondering about too. I mean, part of the magic of D&D is that it's a collaborative storytelling experience. You're building this world together with your players.
That's the core of it. So the question becomes, can AI enhance that collaboration or detract from it?
And honestly, I think it comes down to how you use it. AI is a tool, right? It's not meant to replace the DM. It's meant to empower us, give us more options, and free up our time so we can focus on the things that really matter. The storytelling, the character interactions, those awesome moments that happen around the table.
I like that. AI is a tool, an extension of your creativity, not a replacement for it. It's about using AI to break through those creative blocks, to generate those initial sparks, and then taking those ideas and making them your own, weaving them into the fabric of your campaign.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like having a brainstorming partner who can help you come up with ideas you might never have thought of on your own. But it's still up to you, the DM, to take those ideas and run with them, to make them fit your style, your world, your players.
That makes me think about the whole issue of AI bias. We've touched on how important it is to tailor content to your players and your world. But how can DMs ensure the AI tools they're using aren't perpetuating harmful stereotypes or biases in the content they generate?
That's a huge concern, and it's something we need to be really mindful of.
It's not just about being aware of potential bias. It's also about actively shaping the AI's output, questioning its assumptions, and making sure it aligns with the kind of inclusive and equitable world you want to create.
So it's not a set it and forget it situation.
No.
We need to be actively involved, curating the AI's output, and making sure it reflects our values as DMs.
Right. And remember, the goal is to enhance the game experience, not to frustrate your players, or create a world that feels inauthentic or exclusionary. It's about striking that balance between using AI as a powerful tool and staying true to the heart and soul of what makes D&D so special.
It really is a fascinating balance to think about. This whole discussion's got me thinking about the future of D&D. I mean, what are some of the possibilities down the road?
Well, for starters, we might see AI that can truly personalize the gaming experience on an individual level. Imagine a D&D campaign that adapts to your specific interests, playstyle, and even your character's backstory.
Wow, that would be incredible. It's like the game is learning about you as you play and crafting the story around you.
Exactly. And think about how AI could be used to create even more dynamic and responsive game worlds. We've already touched upon AI-generated dungeons that shift and change, but imagine an entire world that evolves based on player actions. A world where every choice has ripple effects that shape the environment and the story.
Okay, now that's next level stuff. It's like the line between game and reality starting to blur.
Right, and that's where AI could really push the boundaries of what's possible in D&D. It could help create experiences that are more immersive, engaging, and magical than anything we've seen before.
I'm already picturing myself running a campaign powered by AI, weaving in those personalized puzzles, and watching my players' reactions.
It's exciting to think about. And speaking of exciting developments, remember Paul Bellow? Fine fellow indeed. And his work on LitRPG Adventures, well, he's been developing a new Hex world builder that uses AI, and it sounds pretty remarkable.
Oh yeah, I was reading about that. It's supposed to help DMs create these incredibly detailed and immersive game worlds, generating everything from mountains and rivers to towns and dungeons. And the coolest part is, and it can even generate lore and backstory for the world, which can then be used to create even more engaging storylines and puzzles.
It's essentially putting a world-building team at your fingertips. Imagine customizing a mountain range with hidden caves, populating your forests with unique creatures, and having AI craft backstories for each town, all seamlessly integrated into your Hex map.
Okay, that's officially the top of my DM wish list. I can't wait to get my hands on that and start experimenting.
I think that's the key takeaway from all of this, the power of experimentation. Whether it's using AI to brainstorm puzzle ideas, to craft personalized challenges, or to build an entire world, the possibilities are endless.
I agree. This whole conversation has really opened my eyes to the potential of AI in D&D. It's not about replacing the human element, it's about amplifying it, giving us more tools and more freedom to create truly amazing gaming experiences.
And remember, the most important thing is to have fun, experiment, explore, and see what works for you and your players.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that's our deep dive into AI-powered D&D. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have.
It's been a pleasure.
And before we go, we want to leave you with one final thought. If you could create any AI-powered D&D puzzle, what would it be? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your ideas.
Until next time, happy gaming.